So I'm gonna say hello to everybody. Hi, we're back. Powerhouse Marathon still going. Powerfall 2021. I think we're live. At least it looks like it. We're walking around and we are in Ghosts of Tsushima. And we're gonna do the Iki Island DLC, and we have back with us Aeshmah. Thank you very much for coming back, and on commentating Emerald Alley. You two, please take it away.
Oh, hello there everyone, I'm Aeshmah. I'm gonna be running Ghost of Tsushima the Iki Island expansion for you, as you've just heard. This is probably one of the shortest categories we have for this game now. All the other runs that we've seen so far of the game have been about, 3 hours and more, and this will be a nice 1 hour, pretty relaxing run, hopefully. So, anything to add to that, Ellie, or should we just get in?
Um, I don't have a stream right now. Should I pull up the marathon stream?
Oh.
Yeah, let's do that probably. That's the
Okay.
best. Also, while we set this up, let me also just say we're still taking your donations for direct relief.
Oh,
We
there it
are
is.
supporting their cause in like relief for the Hurricane Ida response, and also we have a couple of little incentives that you can also put your money towards. For example, today we still have a Hello Kitty Cruises run, and you can choose the character there. Already $30 are put towards Hello Kitty herself, so or their self. I'm not sure on the pronouns there, but if you want anybody else to be selected for character, you can still send money our way, and we're gonna ship that over to direct relief. And with that, I think we're good to go on the marathon run, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
everything's all set.
Alright, so, speaking of natural catastrophes, I think there is one coming up right now once we start this run. So, strap in your seatbelts and let's get this show on the road in 3, 2, 1, go! So the
Good
first
luck.
thing, thank you. The first thing that you're gonna notice is we start this run and we immediately have about a 40-second unskippable cutscene to, set the mood a little bit here with our sailing over to Iki Island from Tsushima Island, of course. And, as it turns out, we're gonna have a little bit of a problem with the storm here coming up. And, yeah, well, you know the drill, right? Main character on boat, storm approaching. It's not gonna end well.
Never a good combination.
Nope. And this scene really gets to you because, spoiler alert, in the main game run, your horse actually, well, dies at one point. So everybody who saw this scene happening, was immediately afraid for the life of the horse again. Let's hope we actually find our horse because Jin is already a little bit worried about that.
It's actually an extra gut punch because at one of the hot springs where you sit and relax for a moment and it increases your maximum health slightly, one of the options is reflect on my horse. And Jin literally says, I believe the horse is Nobu in this case. There's a few options you can choose for horse name. Jin literally says, Nobu, I'm so glad I found you, because spoiler alert, he does. I'm so glad I found you. I don't know what I would do without you. I'd be lost without you, something like that. And it's like, really, Sucker Punch, did you have to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a sucker punch, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we just gotta do a little bit of a rolling maneuver here because Jin's movement speed is actually limited at this part. You are supposed to go through this cave like really, really slowly and take in all the new sights and smells, I suppose. But the rolling still works like normal, and that is like, faster than just moving about. And now we get our official introduction to Iki Island. So, welcome everybody. Doesn't it look ever so lovely? And
You have
yes,
smell-o-vision on your PlayStation, I don't on mine. I'm jealous.
I'm actually kind of glad that I don't, because I think most of the game wouldn't smell that nice, I think, with all
Probably
these
not.
sweaty Mongols running around and whatnot. So, yeah, smell-o-vision, not yet. So yeah, we're just gonna, run around the beach here a little bit in search of our horse, and the first thing we're gonna do is we will cross our fingers that we will not come across any wildlife, and by wildlife I mean any boars or bears, because they can totally wreck you at this part in the run. Because the thing is with wildlife, it just doesn't let you go, which means you will stay in combat for basically the whole time until you've killed whatever is chasing you, and that can mess with the cutscene triggers or story triggers, and of course we get boars. Lovely, exactly what I did not want to see. So yeah, we're gonna get bullied a little bit here. Because once I get to the boat, I will have to press the button to make the next scene appear, and while these boars are chasing me, that actually won't happen. So let's hope until I get to the boat. All the boars are gone. But yeah, as you can imagine, that is already a little bit of a time loss because that boy actually tackled me and ran me over. So, time loss!
Oh no, red split.
Yeah. But yeah, that is our boat with which we came to the island. It is properly destroyed, but luckily we find some horse tracks. So we actually have a good chance that our horse is still alive somewhere on the island. So, you know, being the good buddy that we are now gonna look for our horse. Luckily, we don't actually have to follow the horse tracks. We can just go immediately where the horse basically is. So we're just gonna take a little bit of a shortcut through the greenery here. And we will head for that rock formation that you can kind of see on the left there.
But the game's telling you to return to the road.
I won't. I'm such a rule breaker.
Rebel.
Exactly.
That sound. They're close.
So hey, we found our horse.
Nobu, he needs me.
And yeah, it learned a new trick, supposedly. Which is pretty sweet, and that is actually the first thing that you're gonna notice when you start playing the Iki Island expansion, is that your horse at this point actually learns a new trick, which is the horse charge, that we are gonna do quite, well, not quite often, but it is a very useful ability that is new and exclusive to the Iki Island expansion, because what the horse charge actually does, as long as they have some resolve, which are the, you know, yellow golden orbs in the lower left corner of the screen, you can do the horse charge and basically turns your horse into a weapon, as we will see in just a moment here. So, hello dudes, get wrecked. And not only does this make you go faster, it also kills the enemies that you charge through. And as you can see, that is kind of useful for a traversal option, because you couldn't do that in the main game. And we definitely love it, because it is pretty powerful.
You may notice that the horse is also kitted out in some pretty majestic armor. That is actually unlocked in a side quest on Iki Island. Aeshmah is, of course, doing the New Game Plus version, which we don't have a regular New Game or first playthrough version of this because it wouldn't really be meaningfully different. It would just mean you can't skip the cutscenes and a few upgrades aren't unlocked. Those would be the only differences.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it will probably be a longer and a bit more arduous run there for sure. Also, you gotta keep in mind that you can't immediately access the Iki Island expansion once you start the game. You actually have to wait until you progress into Act 2 of the main story before you can come here. So, you know, if you were to do a proper run, you would probably have to trudge through about 3.5 hours of Act 1 before you were able to get to this point, and yeah.
Well, that or just max out Tsushima Island before you even did it.
Yeah,
Either of those
exactly.
just seem kind of not great for a speedrun category, and nobody really wanted it anyway.
Exactly. And you know, I think we're all glad that we actually get to do a shorter category in the game now, because the others were all pretty long comparatively. So
Dual rush, baby.
Also true. Also, don't be discouraged. This death is actually intentional, because in order to start the next quest, you are supposed to lose to basically any Mongol patrol on the island. And yeah, we come here because before I died, I actually unlocked a fast travel point that we're gonna use in a little bit. But yeah, this death is wholly intentional. You know, there was no mistake. I did want to die there, so we now got captured by the main antagonist of the Iki Island expansion, the Eagle. We are not actually fighting Khotun Khan this time around, but the Eagle is basically the clan leader of, well, the Eagle tribe of the Mongol. And she has now poisoned Jin with some kind of, you know, mental disorientating substance, drink, whatever. And this will have recurring effects throughout our time on Iki Island.
Oh, so that skips when you heroically storm Fort Sakai and get, like, bombs thrown at your feet and whatever?
So you haven't found allies.
I actually don't know,
Island
because
That's how it happened in my playthrough. I've actually only played this once. That's really cool.
to be honest, I was kind of in the same boat. Like, I was actually on my way into Sakai Fortress, you know, where we are actually at the moment. And before I was able to get there, I actually died because, you know, I was trying stuff out. I didn't know exactly where to go, so I never even made it to Fort Sakai on my first playthrough,
Interesting.
and I haven't even tried it ever since. So I can't actually answer that question, to be honest.
Yeah, because in my playthrough, I got in, it started like the big duel cutscene or whatever, and some unseen enemy threw smoke bombs at my feet, and then that cutscene of Jin being carried away by thugs played.
Huh.
So that's kind of awesome that you can short circuit that. I didn't even know that.
Interesting. Well, you see, I didn't know the other way around, so that is the learning experience. I mean, to be fair, the director's cut or the Iki Island expansion is still kinda new. It only released like 2 months ago at this point, I want to say. Something like that. I think it released in August, right?
Something like, yeah, definitely over the summer.
Yeah. So, you know, we have
Oh, hey, Charlatan. Charlatan's in chat. Hi, Charlatan.
Hey, hello there. Charlton is another runner of the game. He is actually the one who did the first Iki Island speedruns and who came up with most of the strategies in this category, I want to say. So shoutouts to him for finding all of these. While we actually make our way through, you know, this hallucination where Jin is transported back in time to his younger self, while his father is shouting all kinds of mean babble at him, because he is apparently useless and more a poet than a warrior. But everybody who has played this game knows that Jin actually is the best warrior on Tsushima Island, so I don't know what he's on about.
And he's a so-so poet. His haikus really don't work.
I mean, honestly, have you ever read a haiku that actually works? I don't know, man. It's just 3 sentences, not even, like, just jumbled together, trying to sound poetic or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we're just, you know, following this linear path outside until we regain control of our actual self, so to speak. We've tried to find ways to go or to skip this scene, but it's just not possible. You just have to go it, because if you know this game, you know it's also very restrictive in a way. Like, we have tried to find glitch and skips and whatnot, but we've barely come up with anything. There are actually some glitches and stuff, but none of these are actually useful for a speedrun setting, as they can just, you know, quote-unquote fun stuff, like you are able to glitch the game in a way that you can play the game with young Jin, or you can play with naked Jin and stuff like that. It's funny, but it doesn't actually help you in a speedrun setting, so, you know. You gotta play by this game's rules, and only by those.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that the mission like marker on the map for the DLC is there from the very moment you have free roam capability at the beginning of the playthrough, and there is actually a way to reach the second map before you properly unlock it, but you can't do anything.
Yeah.
You can like get materials, but that's it. You can't do any missions. And I thought at first it was because none of the markers actually spawned in. So I was excited at first when I saw the DLC marker was there, but even that one, you go up to the boat and nothing happens.
Yeah, the game is very restrictive in its structure, so you actually have to know, you know, the order of the missions by heart and where they spawn and whatnot if you want to go fast. Which is actually another point with the here. We are just gonna go ahead and grab this other fast travel option, the haiku right here, and then we'll immediately go back and fast travel to where we unlocked the other fast travel point where I died to progress the story, because we actually need to go back to the other side of the island here in order to go to the third main quest of the Iki Island expansion. The Iki Island expansion actually has 9 main quests if I have counted them correctly, and we are already onto the third, or are about to be onto the third, so you know, it's actually a very short and sweet category. I actually do like that. I really, really do.
There's so much awesome side content and even hidden side content in the DLC as well. You can just lose yourself for hours playing this expansion.
A nice addition that they did are some of the unlockable skins for your armor settings. Like, if you notice, I am wearing the ghost armor, and I actually have the Shadow of the Colossus skin unlocked for it. So if you take a close look at Jin's vestments here, you can kind of see some of the iconography of Shadow of the Colossus embedded on it, and that's pretty nice.
Yeah, there are also alternate armors based on God of War and Bloodborne. Interestingly enough, not Horizon Zero Dawn, even though God of War, Bloodborne, Horizon, and Shadow of the Colossus have alternate armors available in Legends mode.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the reason is because, you know, Horizon Zero Dawn has a female lead character, and the hunter in Legends gets the Horizon Zero Dawn outfit, which is also a female. So I guess they thought that a Horizon Zero Dawn armor for Jin wouldn't fit. I don't know.
I don't know. They could have made him look like Rost.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess they didn't think that far. No idea.
Yeah, who knows?
Anyway, actually, now that I think about it, you will get to see all three of those outfits during the course of the run. So you will see the God of War and Bloodborne outfits, now that I think about it.
There's some truth to that.
I guess I will go ahead and point them out just in case you guys don't miss it. But yeah, this is Tenzo. Tenzo is the, well, second main character, I want to say, for the Iki Island expansion. He is a raider of Iki Island. So he's actually somewhat of a bad guy, you know, because Clan Sakai, specifically Jin's father, when they had to basically eliminate all the raiders on Iki Island like years back. So there's a little bit of a dilemma going on here. Because, you know, we actually have to face the greater threat for the island, which is, of course, the Mongols. But Jin actually has to cooperate with the quote-unquote killers of his father in order to do so. So,
And at this point, he's lying to Tenzo about who he is. He hasn't told him who he actually is.
He's just known as Jin from Yarikawa to the people.
Yeah, it's
around
actually
here.
the name of one of the missions.
Yeah.
His throat was opened while he slept. His blood sprayed.
So yeah, we are on our way to the Raiders Refuge, you know, where the other resistance fighters against the Mongols on this island are holding up. But the entrance was actually blocked because the Mongols found it and they set up some charges to, you know, make it collapse. So we have to go and find a little bit of a roundabout way, along these
Easy for you to
cliffs
say.
here.
Hold on Iki that survived the Sakai invasion.
And we actually have to wait for Tenzo to exactly follow us here, because unless he stands around here and we have this little dialogue, we cannot actually do this right here and grapple down the bridge. So
It's pretty cool that they expanded the uses of the grappling hook in the DLC. However, my muscle memory, I don't know if this happened to you on your first playthrough, Aeshmah, my muscle memory is so much, okay, jump and then grapple. Because that's the only thing you can do in the base game with it, essentially. And so many times I would just jump directly to my death because you were supposed to do what you did just there, grapple it from a standing position and pull, which is, again, not a thing in the core game.
Yeah, it definitely takes some getting used to, but you know, in the main game you also have these red and white indicators that you can actually go ahead and grapple there. So of course your first instinct is to just jump at it and swing over, but yeah, that doesn't work with those. So you would definitely plummet to your death the first couple times until you have, you know, got it down what you need to do there.
Ultimately, I do like that they expanded the use of the grappling hook.
It's just, you know, I think they could have done a little bit more with it, personally, like, you know, have some more uses with it, because it's only at very specific points that you're actually going to use that, but it's a nice addition for sure.
No, that would just make people say, oh, this is a Sekiro clone even more.
Yeah, but the grappling hook in that game was also pretty fun, not gonna lie. I mean, could you just imagine if you could use the grappling hook in this game during the fights? Just grapple onto a Mongol and pull him to you or something like that, make him stumble and fall into your blade or stuff like that. I mean, that would be kind of cool, I guess. But alas. Anyway, we are in the refuge now. These are all the lovely, helpful, quote-unquote people that we will use.
Quote-unquote people?
Quote-unquote helpful. I guess I said that too late.
Okay.
But, yeah. They will become our allies sooner or later, because you're just that good at dispatching Mongols.
Let's go, Jin.
So we just have to wait for Tenzo to finish his little conversation there. And then we will go over to Fune, the lady in blue there. She was just here, but we will not talk to her there. We will actually go ahead and talk to her up here. And that takes care of the third mission. What am I doing? So now we actually go back to the other side of the island. You know, We basically started at the upper left, then we went to the right, back to the left. Now we're back on the right again. So game kind of doesn't know to make up its mind, I guess. But yeah, the point that we're trying to do now is the Mongols are employing a pretty big warship, and it's just wreaking havoc on the raiders. So, you know, Jin just says, oh, well, I'm gonna take that out, because he's trying to gain their trust, so we're just gonna do that, because it's in this bay down there to resupply. At least it will be shortly. And this mission is actually pretty what's unique among all the other missions, because if you know the main game, what we normally do, or mostly do, is we will equip the ghost armor and then get into a fight, because the ghost armor has a perk that if you kill an enemy, there is a high chance that another enemy will flee in terror. We will basically drop their weapon and, you know, drop out of the fight immediately. However, all the enemies in this mission on the boat cannot be terrorized. For some reason, I have no idea. We've tried a couple things, but they just will not flee. So I will actually go ahead and change my armor once I get to the boat. Because, you know, I just have to fight these guys. There's no way that I can terrify them.
Like he wants to steal it.
Funny. For a samurai. You know the drill. Quick. Let's keep these monsters eager and welcome.
Now these guys can still get terrified, that's not a problem, but like I said, once we get to the boat, that won't work anymore.
Fire makes terrify more likely as well, right?
Ah, yes, if you have the correct perks for that. So basically you can equip different charms to your armors, which give you some passive effects, and one of these effects is that the enemies can get terrified when another enemy is set on fire. Now we are equipping the Sakai armor with the God of War skin. I hope everybody can identify that. You know, the
that one's pretty on the nose. The Bloodborne one is a little not quite as obvious.
It's just basically all black on black with a little emblem on the skirt, I want to say. That tells you it's from Bloodborne.
Yeah, I think it's because it's not necessarily based on the player character, it's based on one of the NPC hunters.
Mm-hmm.
You're not real.
When you die, will the raiders pray for you?
I mean, it works well enough, but yeah, it's definitely not as obvious if you are not looking for it. But, you know, I mean, the God of War look is pretty iconic.
You know
I guess we can all agree on that, like the white with the red line going down it. Ow, thank you.
Quiet.
So yeah, this part can be a little bit tricky because the enemies are in a couple different places, and like I said before, there is no way for me to terrify these guys.
Does it matter at all that you lost your ghost stance there?
No,
Okay.
at least I don't think so. I mean, I've never used it. Maybe I should actually, now that I think about it. Maybe that could help here.
I honestly didn't know, that's why I asked.
But yeah, this is actually the place where I'm getting really afraid of archers, because there are a lot of them here. And as you can see, they can very easily take care of you, and there are so many archers, oh my god.
Yeah,
Okay.
archers in close quarters is sort of mocha.
Mm-hmm.
when he died.
I mean, they die pretty easily, but they can also kill you pretty easily.
My fault.
But yeah, once you get this vision, you know that you have killed all of them, and you can proceed to the higher elevation where the rest of the enemies are. So we are gonna do that here.
The one guy got stuck on geometry, that was funny.
Just a little bit of cleanup work here. There are some more up here. I don't have any more bombs. Why don't I have any more bombs?
So you mentioned charms on the armor. One of the things, I don't believe it's in the Director's Cut itself, but a patch that accompanied the Director's Cut, meaning it's in the original version of the games too. One of the things it enabled was loadouts for your armor, so you can have specific charms be with specific armors all the time. Previously, whatever charms you had just followed you to whatever armor you changed into, and that can be really useful for maximizing your output in specific situations. I'm a dirty casual with this game. I never really used it, but I'm sure it's very helpful for speedrun routing.
Yeah, we basically have specific charm loadouts for every single set of armor in the game. You know, playing to their strength and stuff like that. Like the Sakai armor that we're using for actually combat has you know, charms that increase the damage output of it by a bunch, whereas the Ghost armor has charms that help with terrifying enemies, as I explained earlier. And it just goes on with every single armor set, so they're all very specific. And they definitely do help in going fast.
Like you would use range charge moves with Tadayori's armor, which I don't think you use in this.
Yeah, it's actually one of the nice things that came about with the Iki Island expansion is we previously only used a couple armor sets. Not a lot actually. But with Iki and the new charms that they introduced, we are now using pretty much every single armor set the game offers you, except Tadayori, because I simply have not found a good use for it still. Now, for those not in the know, Tadayori's armor is basically the bow and arrow armor set. Like, it increases your arrow damage and decreases the time that it takes for you to knock your arrows and stuff like that. But, fighting with a bow and arrow is actually not that great in this game. I mean, it can work, but there are just always better ways to go about stuff. And that actually was a gold split. Hooray! See, I've been trying really hard to incorporate Tadayori's armor, but I have just found no way still how to do that. And it irks me a little bit, to be honest.
Well, if you ever did 100% of this, of course you would use it for the archery challenges.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's going to do that.
It could definitely take a lot of time. I think Charleston actually has started routing out a platinum percent for this game, and I think he's already up to about 16 hours or something.
Well done.
Well, I actually just meant 100% for Iki Island, but
Oh, okay.
100% for the whole game, oh boy.
Yeah, it's you know, there's a lot of stuff to do in this game with all the shrines that you can go to and all the foxes that you can pet and the banners. Oh god, don't get me started on all the banners for the horse things.
And all the cats, monkeys, and deer you can pet on Iki Island too. I love that. That's probably one of my favorite things I've ever had in a game. Is just the chance to be kind to animals.
Yeah, they specifically added animal shrines on Iki Island, and actually the cats are the thing that surprised me the most, I want to say, because they are so big. Like, holy crap.
Based on an actual breed of cat native to Tsushima Island, and believe a few of them do show up on Tsushima as well as on Iki if you're playing Director's Cut.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't think I've spotted them on Tsushima Island yet, yeah, but they are definitely prevalent on Iki. But they, you know, they're looking strange, but they're fluffy. You know, some nice fluffy cats there. Anyway, we destroyed the warship, and now it's actually time to go and take back Fort Sakai. You know, the thing that our father built when he was basically Lord of Iki Island, so to speak. And it's the Eagle's main headquarters, so of course we do want to have that back. So there are also some raiders that we are going to try and free while we're there. So let's see how our attack goes. Also, I think we haven't talked about the shamans at all. Now, the shamans are these guys singing. And,
Oh god, yeah.
And it took me too long to actually get to the shaman and kill him, and that is why I died. Because what they do is, while they are singing, all the enemies around them actually get buffed, like in a myriad of ways. Like, they get stronger attacks that deal more damage, all the attacks become unblockable, they get more health, they get more stagger. They are just getting buffed all around. So the first thing that you always want to do when you get into a fight is look for the shamans, freaking kill them. Now that was actually lucky, the arrow hit me before the shamans were able to start their chant, and before I could dodge, I was killed yet again. God damn.
I had trouble in my casual playthrough eliminating all of the shamans or noticing which ones were the shamans, I swear I was always attacking the ones that had those little wavy lines coming from them indicating they were doing the chanting, but it was rare that I completely cleared a battlefield of them. I don't know.
Yeah, they can definitely, you know, fall a little bit into the background here and make it really hard for you to get your bearings. And if you don't do it, well, you know, it's not gonna end that lucky for you. So where are these? Where are they? I am missing somebody. There he is! Okay, can you die please? Okay. I think that was all of them, yeah. Alright, finally made it. But yeah, you know, just quick reminder, we are actually playing on lethal difficulty. On lethal difficulty, death is always just one step away, or one wrong button press, as you saw there. The enemies can very quickly kill you. Like, you are normally able to maybe withstand one hit or two, but if they are getting powered up by the shamans, you will definitely die in one hit. So, yeah, it's fun.
Let's drive the Mongols
I mean, it's
from this
lethal.
place.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I did my first playthrough on medium.
It's really, you know, a thing. Once you go lethal, I think you just don't want to go back because it's just so fun to play it. Because not only do the enemies kill you quicker, you can also kill every enemy quicker because they also take more damage. So
Honestly, having done Lethal Dual Rush, I can buy that.
but that's the best part. Honestly, you just gotta try it. But yeah, that is also something that they introduced with the director's cut of the game, is the ability that you can now replay certain sections of the game, like the duels and the outposts. And that is what triggered us to basically introduce a dual rush category, where we now replay all the duels in the game back to back in a sort of boss rush mode. And that
All
is
the
also
ones we
a lot of
can.
fun.
There are a few you can't.
True. But, you know, it's still enough. I think.
Oh yeah, I love it. Gotta get back to it.
Oh my god. Okay, file that under that never happened before. We actually have some Mongols that are still alive down here. What the heck, guys? Like, there are like 20 of you. How can you not kill that one dude? Like,
Your buddies are useless.
ridiculous. Look how many buddies I have. And they all failed to kill that one Mongol. I am so disappointed in all of you. Anyway, time for the Bloodborne outfit.
This is it.
So yeah, you can basically, you know, not actually tell that this is supposed to be from Bloodborne, I guess, except from maybe the dark color or something, I don't know. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. You will never see it again. At least in this one.
It's based on an NPC called Eileen the Crow.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know Bloodborne so much, but I read that.
Oh, no, okay, I can see the similarities. I love me some Bloodborne. Oh, shoot. Oh, that's actually not good. What do? The problem there was that guy kind of blindsided me and, you know, killed me because he was empowered by the shaman, which meant I lost some resolve, but I kinda need my resolve for what is coming up, so I am a little bit short on it now, so this could be interesting. Okay, let's hope for the best. Because coming up is our first duel on Iki Island. It's against Kunbish. He is basically the eagle's right-hand man, and he is a very interesting duel partner. Because he basically cycles through 3 attack sets, one with 2 swords, with a sword and shield, and with a lance. And he, you know, progressively loses them over the course of the fight. And you kind of want to do 3 Dances of Wrath to just finish the duel outright. But I don't have enough resolve to do that now, so I will probably have to do one of the phases normally, even more. Yeah, this will be interesting. Oh no, okay, everything's okay. Never
Yeah,
mind.
you don't fully kill Kunbish in the duel. You have to do this.
Yeah. You're normally supposed to follow him through the castle. You can
Right,
see him
right.
there, but we just go through the window and we end up in front of him, and he still throws these bombs somehow from on top, even though he is behind us. So, yeah. I guess teleportation? I don't know.
This game does have mild supernatural elements to it.
You could say that. You could say that.
Killed some of them. Good thinking.
But yeah, with that, we have retaken Fort Sakai. We're gonna switch back to the ghost armor, go back to the refuge. And we are already on to the second to last quest of Iki Island, the massacre at Kidafura village.
Here's the samurai who freed us from Fort Sakai.
So we go talk to Fune. So basically what happened in this story is we took Fort Sakai, the eagle wasn't there, we killed Kunbish, and we learned that the eagle is now out and about somewhere on Iki Island. And we plan to basically, you know, attack her forces or repel them rather by taking, by fortifying Kidafuru village and trying to lure the Mongols into not exactly an ambush, but into a prepared ground where we can actually go ahead and take them. And the poison that Jin imbibed at the start is kind of starting to play a lot of mind tricks against him, you know, showing him visions from the past, how his father fought the raiders of Iki Island here, you know, slaughtering like their families and children and stuff like that. So yeah, Jin is starting to have a little bit of a freak out here.
Yeah, if you've played one of Sucker Punch's earlier games, Infamous, something very similar happens to the playable hero in that game. It's in the first act of that game, where the first boss of that game, Sasha, forces the hero to consume an unknown substance, and he has very similar looking visions and visual freakouts and whatnot. So it's like Sucker Punch kind of pulling something from their old bag of tricks. Obviously new and improved, but I definitely noticed the connection. I appreciated it because I ran the heck out of Infamous back in the day.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting because if you go around Iki Island, you get various flashbacks of events that unfolded in the main game, which is kind of interesting from time to time. But personally, I actually didn't like them too much because they frequently interrupt the gameplay, like very often actually, and it got a little bit overwhelming if you're just trying to speed through the island a little bit. But I mean, you know, you can see them in that way or in another way. Some people really enjoyed them.
I also love there's visual Easter eggs. There's a mountain with a monkey shrine on the top of it. I forget exactly where it is on the island. But as you climb it, you'll pass by these little symbols painted on the walls. And a few of them seemingly meaningless, but a couple of them are well-identifiable logos from the PS4 Infamous games, Second Son and First Light. And I definitely appreciated that too.
I think the rock is like in the southwest of the island, if I remember correctly. It's the really big one, right? With the sanctuary on top? Yeah.
It's definitely on the coast somewhere, but I don't remember exactly where.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in the southwest.
We'll go with that.
But yeah, this is basically the biggest fight scene in the game, or the expansion, I want to say. There are a lot of small skirmishes that we have to get through here, so, you know, strap in your combat boots. I'm gonna need them. Where's the last dude?
For me, now.
More Mongols heading in!
We need to buy our people more time. Turn!
Where are they?
Honestly, now that I think of it, this reminds me of a mission from Infamous 2 as well, where you're guarding, like a hospital of some kind from the marauding monsters who come in and try to attack it. You have to go to one fight to another, to another, to another. More of a superficial connection, I admit, but it does remind me of that since I've been thinking of Infamous.
I mean, you know, stick to your guns, I suppose.
Quickly!
Let's ready a welcome.
But yeah, I mean, what they do really well in this part is that they really change up, you know, the different skirmishes that you're getting into with different terrain that you have to navigate. Like we had this fight in the open, now we have this little defense bit where we can set up. Oops, that was the wrong guy. You know, we can blow up these barrels with the explosives inside to take care of some enemies. So I always appreciate that when they change up the stuff a little bit, just so it doesn't get too stale. Yeah, looking good so far. I mean, looks like we're winning.
For now.
You'll never forget this.
And of course, Jin now gets another flashback.
The ground was soaked in
Now see how the men of his father just kill all the villagers, stuff like that.
the butcher of Iki.
Very sad, very sad.
Quiet.
More fireworks to the west.
Can't keep this up forever.
Let's go.
Okay. And back on the horse and off to another skirmish.
Keep moving.
Bune, you think the fallback defenses are ready?
I think what I maybe even enjoy the most about the Iki Island expansion is that there are no stealth missions this time around.
Ah, yes.
Not that I always dislike stealth missions. I do like me some from time to time, but you know, it's just nice that you have a section of the game where there aren't any. Mostly because we also basically skip all of them in the main game, more or less. With the rolling, or we used to. We can't do that anymore actually because they patched that. Screw them.
Mongol commander armor, though.
Exactly. Instead of rolling and doing it all sneaky, like we're basically just menuing the stealth sections now. Also, if you notice here, I didn't immediately go ahead and throw all my black powder bombs to kill the Mongols. And that is because once you get into the fight there, they will actually trigger some reinforcements coming in. So what you're going to do is you throw your first bomb to get into the fight, trigger the reinforcements, and then you space out your bombs in a way that you actually have a chance to terrify the reinforcements as well. And that actually saves a little bit of time because you don't have to run around and search for them because they're in the fight and got terrified. Took me a couple tries to figure that out, but it works way better than just, you know, throwing all your bombs into the throng and then having to run around and search for the stragglers. Alright, more fighting.
Defenses are ready. Hold the invaders here.
Maybe not. It's actually debating if I should try and shoot them with an arrow, but nah.
Nah.
Oh yeah, the horse isn't coming from me, right? We're still in combat, of course. There are like 4 of you guys, you can't kill that one guy who is near death. So these are the last reinforcements. Just gonna throw a bomb at them. That was a very good throw. I'm rather impressed by myself.
Keep fighting. Push them.
And you only have to kill one of these guys and then the rest will just break and flee before you. Kinda like in Yarikawa in the main game if you know that. And that quest done.
I like how you were running right next to one of the guys for a second there.
He's my buddy now. I'm gonna bring them home with me. Not really. Alright, and with that we are already on to the last quest on Iki Island. Time is just flying by. Oh my god. So yeah, now that we have, you know, massacred a lot of the Eagle's forces, we are getting ready for our last confrontation with her. However, we need a plan. And what they are coming up with is there is this section of the island called Senjo Gorge, and it's basically this big valley. You know, think of it like a bit of like a Grand Canyon, I want to say, just smaller and with more pathways and stuff like that. And what they're trying to do is we're trying to lure the Mongols into the canyon, and so we can just rain arrows on them from the sides. That sounds like a pretty good plan, right? Should be quite easy to take care of the rest of the Mongols.
Wasn't sure you would either.
But, of course, things don't exactly go as planned. So, yeah, let's see how this will turn out. I mean, I've spoiled it too much already, haven't I? But yeah, first of all, we're just gonna go ahead and look for the eagle. See if we can actually find her to lure her inside the gorge.
Scouts spotted the eagle's force.
Is Funa in position?
The canyons are crawling.
Yeah, the one thing I think we shouldn't spoil too much is the actual story of this expansion. It's really quite good. It's, you know, there's many different plot threads that weave together, of course, but it's essentially about how Jin's father dies, and there's some really heady moments in it, and it's it's really good. And I also kind of like how for the director's cut, sort of kind of helping it to earn that name, if anything, it changes a couple of the cutscenes in the core game that depict Jin's father dying. Originally it happens in a very nondescript looking place with no other characters talking besides Kazumasa and his final words, whereas in the director's cut it's changed to suit the events of the Iki Island expansion.
Yeah, not only that, since you can actually, you know, freely decide when you want to go to Iki Island, like do you immediately go there once you have access to it in Act 2, or do you go to it in the post-game, the dialogue actually changes on Iki Island, reflecting the events that have unfolded so far in the main story, which is a really nice touch.
That is, yeah.
Eagle's helmet. Shouldn't be hard to spot. That's her.
Hey, look, it's the eagle!
Where?
Final fight! That was quick.
There. She sees us. Move in.
Let's go ahead and just murder her, I suppose.
She wasn't hard to find.
No, not at all. Like right there in the open.
No, not now.
Accept my gift. Become my shaman.
Your gift is poison.
Refuse me and you will die.
So yeah, as you can imagine, this is just an illusion. If you haven't picked it up yet, she's not really here.
Let's go! The eagle got away! Look for her! She was never here.
Where are they? There they are. Let's send them. There he is.
Jin, what happened?
Okay, and this... Well, should we spoil that? I don't know.
No, don't.
Yeah, okay.
Senjo Gorge!
Let's just say things are gonna get a little bit not so great.
Eagle, you sure you didn't want to become her shaman? Offer us up to your new master?
I'm no traitor.
But yeah, we will now go to Senjo Gorge as planned, and
I thought the eagle was someone
yeah,
else.
have a bit of a fight there.
I told her about my father.
Like you said, this director's cut and consequently this DLC hasn't been out all that long, so
Right.
let's not give everything away.
I mean, you know, we could basically only do a Cliff Notes version of the story anyway, and I think for a lot of people, the main story of the game is the main draw point, which I can totally understand because the story is really good. So yeah, definitely give this a try yourself. If you have the opportunity. This was a bit scummy though. I don't know what I got hanged up on. But my horse just did not want to charge.
Nobu got scared.
Another shaman around here somewhere. Probably over here somewhere. Oh, God.
That's unfortunate.
That was actually a mistake from the camera, not from me, because I attacked him, but Jin just kinda didn't attack him, he attacked something else. Oh well, could have do that again. Not that big of a deal. Can actually just go ahead and immediately ride for the second part of the battle here. Just charge straight through these guys.
Speaking of Jin, shoutouts to Daisuke Tsuchi, the actor for Jin. He's a really cool guy, Twitch streamer now himself, and there's a video out there on YouTube where he learns the sword moves that Jin does in the game. I don't know if he learned them for the first time because I believe he also did the mocap, but he does them pretty convincingly and has me all the more convinced that he must play Jin in the Ghost of Tsushima movie that is reportedly in the works.
Yeah, I think we're all holding our breath out for that and the announcement of the cast. Because I think most of the voice actors of the game and the motion cap actors actually did announce the interest in reprising their respective roles, so I think we can all agree that that would be great. Could you die, please?
How do you know this battle is even real?
Yeah, the only one I'd kind of worry about is Yuna. Sumali Montano is, I believe, older than Yuna is supposed to be, so shrug.
I mean, that is something that you can just fix in post-production, I suppose.
Sure.
Lord Sakai,
Yeah. Give her a little Photoshop facelift or something.
Is she here this time?
Or just make her older in the movie. You could do that too.
Yeah, right.
broken and bleeding while you shook like a gnome.
Alright, hey, it's the Eagle! Again!
A son,
Still not fighting her, though.
not a farm boy, but when your father was desperate, you
But we can, you know, have a little bit of fun with her by just throwing some bombs at her, which, catapults her around the place. A little bit disrespectful, maybe, but definitely effective.
Keep hunting for the eagle.
Alright, one more fight.
I used to only hear her voice. Now I see her, feel her presence.
Probably there somewhere.
are you not tired, Lord Sakai?
So the reason why I'm actually just throwing all these bombs at the Eagle is she can actually go ahead and attack you and kill you here, even though she is, you know, not necessarily real. And throwing these sticky bombs at her just keeps her out of my hair for quite a while, because we just have to wait for the dialogue to finish.
Let me take away.
So you can just, you know, relax a bit, take a breather, wait for the scene to finish, and then you can just continue on your merry Mongol killing ways. Once the visions stop. Tenzo, what are you doing?
Falling, apparently.
Now.
Fune as well. What are you guys even doing? Oh, also, I'm done. Wait, what? I had enough resolve to revive myself.
Fish and mailed.
What?
I used to only hear her voice. Now I see her, feel her presence.
Maybe being
Well,
here makes the visions
that
more
never happened
intense.
before. What happened? Or rather, why couldn't I get up?
Are you not tired?
I've observed that sometimes myself, but I don't know what happens. I don't know what makes it happen either, where you just instantly, well not instantly, but irrevocably die.
Remember your terror.
I mean, it even was right at the tail end of the fight, so that was probably the worst position to die in.
I'll send you to hell.
Because, you know, we have to do this whole dialogue thing again as well. Alright, let's just do it again then. Well, at least our allies are actually alive this time.
That's the last of them.
Yay, way to not be useless.
I mean, that's like, you know, a bit of a playing with fire there, basically, because on lethal difficulty, your NPC allies can actually be helpful because they also deal a hell of a lot of damage against the enemies, but they also, of course, take a lot of damage. So if they're playing good, so to speak, they can actually kill a lot of enemies by themselves, but if they don't, well, they are just dead meatbags that you have to take care of.
Also, you were quite literally playing with fire. Haha.
Alright, last duel! How about
This
that?
duel is so good. Although the one thing that I did not like playing this for the first time casually, and I think it does this in the base game too, is if you die over and over and over again, the game in the black screen between respawns says like, do you want to lower the difficulty? It's like, no, shut up. Let me do the difficulty I chose.
Face the judgment of your
It's
ancestors.
like, I know how to
Lord
lower the
Sakai.
difficulty if I want to, but I want to do it at the difficulty I chose.
So the thing with this
I don't know.
duel is
That just bugged me.
you started with full resolve, and then you do this little vision that we just did, and you have to hit the eagle once normally to continue with the fight. But once you get out of the vision again, you once again have full resolve that you can use on the eagle to basically finish the fight immediately. So sadly, the duel is not that interesting in the speedrun setting. So, nah.
It still kind of is in Dual Rush, at least.
It is. So yeah, we're just gonna do this haiku. We have a little bit of a relaxing ending to this speedrun. And then we are done once we see the title card for the Blessing of Death.
Yeah, that last cutscene that we skipped is basically Jin resolving his father issues. It's really quite powerful.
Daddy issues be gone.
Free at last from life.
So
Also, gameplay intensifies.
And time. And that is it. That was a 54 or 6 roundabout for me. It's an okay-ish time, I want to say. It's nearly 2 minutes behind my PB. I lost a lot of time in that last section there because I died twice in the last quest. But otherwise, pretty solid one, I want to say. And yeah. Thank you so much for having me, for, watching Ghost of Tsushima, the Iki Island expansion run. This is the first time this run has been shown off at a marathon, so I was really excited to show that off to you guys. And, Ali, do you have any last words?
No, it's just like you were saying earlier, this is a really great category for, if you played the game, it's like, oh, I really love this game, I'd love to give it more replayability, but you see that the speedrun is like 3 hours or, 4, maybe even 5 when you're first getting started, and you want something a little bit more bite-sized. This really ticks a lot of the boxes.
Yeah, if you want to, learn the speedrun, do join our community Discord for that. You can find a link at speedrun.com. And, thank you so much for the community. Thank you so much for Charlton for coming up for most of the strategies for this particular category. He was the first to run it and run it good. And thank you so much for the organizers for having us. It was a lot of fun as always.
Charlie is a certified beast.
Definitely. Good luck to the rest of the runners for the marathon. We still have a lot of hours to show to you of speedruns and, get donations in and whatnot. And with that, I guess we're out.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for the run, Aeshmah and Emeralds. And we'll be seeing you on the next run in a second. We're gonna go down for a bit and we'll be right back with Bomberman Act 0. So stay tuned.